Howdy guys, I'm back with one of my terrible low effort videos where I'm doing a tier list of star players this time. Someone posted on the Blood Bowl community, hey, is there a tier list of all the star players and what's good and what's bad? What should I look out for? And he said, please, I'm not looking for videos. And I said, well, I mean, it depends on your team. Are you looking to do what you do better? Are you looking to kind of fill gaps? And is your roster composition based on this star or is it based around a star? And he's like, that's not what I was looking for. And I was like, well, then I'm going to make a video. So you can have two things you weren't looking for. I'll start with Helmet. So Helmet's funny because he plays for the Lustian League, which means I guess he has a summer house in Lustria. I guess he visits maybe on the weekends. Maybe he's got part-time with the kids. I'm not sure how they make that make sense, which is so sad because I really liked how Slan made that additional sense along with Amazon's for the lizard teams to share stars. And that's just not the case right now, as long as Slan may never be part of it and Amazons are still one of the missing teams. When I think of Helmet, I think Secret Weapon. And Secret Weapons to me stress me out. I think that I don't really want to commit to a star player, and in this case, he's 140. It's a lot for a guy that could play for just a half or get knocked out and never come back. So I'm going to actually put him at C. I think if you got room and you think a chainsaw is the way to go, give it a shot. He plays for every team, and once per game, he can use his pro skill to reroll a single die as part of an armor roll. So he's a little bit more reliable as a chainsaw, but a stand firm pro chainsaw, I don't love it. So that brings us to Max Spleen River. I don't think his rules have been released, but we can assume he's pretty similar. He's strength 4, doesn't have the other skills, has a chainsaw. Probably 1 lower movement, so he's going to be 5. If he's cheaper, I think I'd go for him. If he's cheaper, but I doubt he's going to be. So if Helmet's 140, we'll have to see where Max comes in. But right now, I think he's, again, a secret weapon. I just don't want to pay for it. Interestingly enough, in the meta, Eldril Sidewinder ends up being pretty cool. The benefit here is that you're going to see a lot of star players, especially teams that have cheap linemen. And it's easy to assume stunty teams and stuff like Underworld are going to be real common. But also think about stuff like Nurgle. Their rotters are only 35k, so they can field a lot more rotters and then fit in a lot of stars. So you're going to see more stars now they've gotten cheaper on more teams. And the benefit of Eldril is he comes with Hypnotic Gaze. And he can reroll that once per game as part of his special rule. He's movement 8, agility 2. He can kind of get a lot done, including shut down the corner of a cage. Make sure you're diagonal to that cage corner so you can run in your blitzer. The other thing he can do is shut down these other star players. He can say, I don't want to deal with Deeproot. Let's bonehead him. I can get right through him. So now, whatever that pivot point they were defending their line with, you can just walk right by. Same thing is true with maybe a ball receiver, someone they want to give the ball to or pass to. You can bonehead that player and they can't receive the ball because they haven't been activated yet and they have bonehead. The only time you need to really worry about that is with Hackflem. Because if they run the ball up to Hackflem, Hackflem's special rule is that he can just grab the ball from that player when he activates. So make sure he hasn't used that special rule yet. If you're going to think about hypnotic gazing, and once he has, then start going for it. And you might mess up the plans of an Underworld, really shut down something like Hackflem. I think that makes him pretty great. I'm going to put him in an A. I think pitch control is a big part of the game. I think it's really important. I think he messes with your opponent's plans. Deeproot is an S. Deeproot's kind of like Morg. So Deeproot is only agility 2. Movement 2. His agility is 5, but he has stuff that's really important like stand firm, and he has block, and he has mighty blow +2. So this guy is a terror on the line, super strong, hard to knock down, and he's going to be doing some damage. I love him on the line. I think that when I played with Morg, I felt like he was kind of the linchpin my team operated around. He was just big threat, and I really didn't use a lot of his movement because he wasn't running up and down the field. He was kind of this slow marching, uh, what I call the old grind of getting your cage up the field. And even at movement 2, he's going to hold your line. He's going to keep your opponent from flooding onto your side and threatening your ball carrier before you're ready to start moving forward. I think he's awesome. Grack and Crumbleberry, I think on paper they look kind of a mess. Like you think, oh, I don't know, do I need 2 players? They also, I think, fill 2 parts of your 2-player limit for stars. Um, but there's something really important here is that Crumbleberry has shore hands. So think of teams that don't normally have access to shore hands, like Lizards or Khemri. They could really use the benefit of this little guy to pick up the ball reliably and get it to a skink that maybe has catch, or someone who can move it down the field. And then Grack adds more muscle to your front line. On those teams, they're really good. So I'm going to put him in a B. Obviously, if either one is KO'd or off the pitch, the other one goes to a loner 2+ from a loner 4+, which means he becomes a pretty reliable ogre. Assuming the halfling goes out first, I think that's probably more likely. Summerbloom is an elf that helps your passing game. Elves don't really need help with passing. Paying 150k, which is I think how much she is. Yeah. And she comes with accurate, dodge, loner 3+, pass, sidestep, and shore hands. Not stuff you're really looking for in elves. Not for 150k. The elves are already kind of an elite team where you're spending a lot of money on linemen. So in this instance, you can give her Hail Mary pass once. I could see that being good on something like Elven Union, where you have a lot of cheap linemen that can just kind of flood to the end of the pitch, just overwhelm them with receivers. Again, you could just give Hail Mary to your passer. So I'm going to put her probably not that good. I don't know. I'll give her the bottom of B. She's good at what she does. I just don't think she helps elves do anything better than they can already kind of do themselves. That gets us to Glart. What do I say about Glart? He's kind of like a funky blitzer. He's got a lot of interesting stuff. Like he's got Blaw, he's got Claw, Grab, Juggernaut, Stand Firm. Once per game, he can swap out his Grab for Frenzy. Really start controlling the pitch. Really try to hunt down a ball carrier. Unfortunately, he's only moving 5. Is strength 4. I think he's good, but I don't think he's great. So I'm going to put him at B. I think he's going to help you do what you're trying to do, which is get down ball carriers and really have a stronger blitzer for your team, especially if you're playing Underworld. It's helpful for Skaven, but I feel like Skaven, you can build out your blitzers anyway. He has a lot of skills. He's 195k, not a terrible price point in a tournament that has some extra gold. I think he's good. I don't think he's great. I think what really hurts him is that movement. I wish he was faster. A lot of the time, your Skaven are going to get away from him, and he's not going to be able to keep up. That's also going to make it difficult to get to ball carriers or get around defenses because of that. Man, my man Griff. Griff, you got to go S tier. I think you're better than Deeproot. Griff has an ability that lets you re-roll once per game. You can re-roll a die. Either as a single die roll, as part of a multiple dice roll. You can roll one of those. It doesn't specify what you can use it for. It only specifies what you can't use it for. So you can't do an armor, injury, or casualty roll. Does that mean I can roll to go first? Does that mean I can re-roll weather? I'm not sure. It doesn't say. So if that's the case and I can re-roll things kind of outside of the normal re-roll uses, I think that's pretty strong. It doesn't say it's technically a re-roll. It just says he can re-roll one die. So yeah, and he comes with all the best stuff. Block, dodge, fend, sprint, sure feet. He's alone on a 3+. Movement 7, strength 4, agility 2+, passing 3+. He's a beast. He's 280, so he's expensive. I think that's the same as Deeproot. But yeah, what a reliable player. And the other thing is that he's playing on dwarves now. And you're going to see a lot more dwarf players running with this guy. He gives them the ball handling and the speed they've always needed. He fills that gap in dwarves. And it makes them, I think, really strong. The next one is Gretchen Watcher. She's kind of like Glart, but in a bad way. She comes with a lot of stuff. And the stuff she comes with is pretty cool, kind of useful. So disturbing presence, dodge, foul appearance, jump up, regeneration, shadowing, sidestep, just a lot of really cool stuff. She's a 2+ agility on undead teams that normally don't have very good agility. Interesting enough is I think Necromantic and Undead are both Masters of the Undead or something, and also Sylvanian Spotlight, which is kind of funny because why come up with two if they both have both of them? So that leads me to believe that they're going to release Khemri at some point. That will be Masters of Undeath, and then she'll stay on Sylvanian Spotlight, and they won't be able to take her. That makes sense because Undead is kind of everything. Necromantic is kind of the wet undead, so like zombies and golems and Frankensteins. And then Khemri is kind of the dry undead, which is the bony stuff and the skeletons. So I really think she's cool. Her special rule is that she gets to add her strength to her dodge roll once a game, which means she can get in a cage. I mean, she's probably the most reliable thing now that Leap has been nerfed to get into a cage, probably in the game. And that bums me out because when she gets there, she doesn't have block. So her odds of knocking down that ball carrier kind of slim. Fortunately, she has shadowing, disturbing presence, foul appearance to kind of keep her there, maybe a little more sticky. But she's still at strength 3. I don't think it's going to be that great of a trade-off. So I hate to do it, but I'm going to put her in C. I just don't think she's not going to accomplish what you want her to do, which is to get in that cage and cause mayhem, right? Now we've got Borak. Lord Borak is such an interesting player because he's good at two totally opposite things. He's a strength 5 mighty blow block dude. He's a big mean chaos warrior, and chaos always likes just more big models on the pitch. They want to outmuscle their opponents. Unfortunately, what he's really good at is his sneaky get dirty player +2. So even though we've talked about Deeproot and eventually we'll talk about Morg, that mighty blow +2 is amazing. You're going to get those casualties. I mean, you're going to get them through. Dirty Player's stronger because you know you're going to break that armor. You've got enough support. You know when you're using it. He can do it a little more safely with Sneaky Git. And Dirty Player +2 means you're always going to use it on that casualty roll because you know you're going to break that armor. Your odds are just so high. Unfortunately, that could be 260,000 worth of gold you're going to waste because he's been kicked off the pitch, which is terrifying, I think, for a Chaos player who needs to be up on that strength, doesn't want to lose players. That's why you don't see Chaos foul that much. His special rule is that he kind of gives you a leader reroll. You get it in the first half, and if you don't use it, it will go to the second half. But it's not as good as a leader reroll. I kind of like that. It's kind of baked into the cost, I think. So you're kind of getting a deal by getting an extra reroll. Of course, Chaos could use extra rerolls. They're 60k normally, so maybe we can assume he's more like a 200,000 gold guy rather than 260. But in this case, I think he's inconsistent. I don't think Chaos players want to pay that much just for really what they're getting is +1 strength and block. I don't know if they want to be doing all of that fouling with this guy. It's just a big gamble. So put him at the top of C for now. And I'll think about it. Then we've got the Black Gobbo. What do I think of the Black Gobbo? He lets you foul a second turn, and he kind of does everything goblins do. So he comes with the Bombardier, he comes with Stab, he comes with Sneaky Git. So do you want to throw a bomb, you want to stab a guy, or do you want to foul? He'll let you foul twice a turn as long as one of the fouls is him, so it doesn't matter which order you go. He's 225, which is kind of pricey for goblin stats. I mean, he's moving 6, strength 2, agility 3+. Passing 3+ if you want to throw the ball with him. I guess that helps with the Bombardier. He also has disturbing presence, so he's kind of obnoxious. He's got sidestep. Again, I don't think stab is something you want to be doing very much unless you have really, really prime targets. I think the best stuff to stab is going to be blodging ball carriers if you can get to them, which is pretty good with him. Also, you can stab snotlings if they're getting in the way just to get them out of there. You're likely to break that armor. But otherwise, I wouldn't try it because it's just your odds are so poor to roll over a 7 normally. At 225, I think he's pretty expensive. Um, he doesn't have secret weapon, which is super interesting because it feels like he should. Man, because he doesn't, I gotta put him. I'm gonna put him up in B. I think this is where he goes. I like sneaking into a cage and stabbing a war dancer with the ball. I think that's a worthwhile thing to do. Or throw a bomb in there. I think that stuff's pretty fun. Um, yeah, he is a little expensive, but on a goblin team, they're gonna need something. I think goblins without their old troll is really struggling. So Grim Ironjaw, I've never played with him. Um, he's a block dauntless frenzy, multiple block thick skull. So he's a slayer with multiple block. Multiple block doesn't work on a blitz. No one's gonna want to stand next to him. They're just gonna dodge away. Uh, and let's read this. You may apply an additional +1 modifier to the armor injury roll. So he's good about taking out big guys. If you hit something with strength 5 or more and you knock him down, he basically gets mighty blow, just regular mighty blow. He doesn't come with it. I think this guy's awful. I think he sucks. I don't want to pay 200k for a strength 4. I don't think he's the worst. But yeah, movement 5, multiple block's not going to come into play very often. He's basically just a troll slayer with +1 strength for 200k. Nah, dog. No thanks. I don't think that's worth it. And let's find out. I can never remember this guy's name. Gombrindal, the White Dwarf. This guy's amazing. I think everyone should run him. I think he's so fun. His special rule is once per team turn. So he's one of the few people that get to keep reusing their special rule along with the Black Gobbo. Anyone in base contact with him, yeah, when one of Gombrel's teammates that is in an adjacent square is activated. Okay, so one person that's touching him when they start their turn get break tackle, dauntless, mighty blow, or sure feet until the end of the activation. So if you need someone to go do something, you can give them break tackle. If you're near someone, and don't have to be in base contact with their target they're throwing the block on, you can be behind him, kind of in safety. So you could field 3 Longbeards right in front of him, and he's kind of loaning these skills out to those guys. And that could be Dauntless. And Dauntless could be a great way to break through an opposition's front line. That could be ogres or trolls or something else that normally you're kind of just bouncing off each other. So that's pretty cool. And he comes with just really great normal stuff. He does have Mighty Blow, something that Grim Ironjaw didn't have. On top of that, he's got Block, Dauntless, Stand Firm. He's great. I like him a lot. He's only strength 3, but he's better, I think, at his job, and he makes your team better. I think he's good. I'm putting him as an A. He's 210k. 10k more, way better than Grim Ironjaw. I think he does more for your team. This is super funny, because I've run Hackflem for years, because I love playing Skaven. And I would have said he's a fun addition to the team. Not that important, but I like it when I can run it. It's like another gutter runner. But now he can run in literally almost every team. Any team with either the Favorite of or Underworld Challenge specials. So all of the Chaos teams, all of the Goblin teams, the Skaven team, it makes him just kind of too prevalent, and he's just everywhere in the meta. You're going to see him a ton. Chaos is running him for his speed and ball handling. Chaos Dwarves. Underworld, obviously. He is... The only time he's not that good is on a Skaven team, where it's just really another gutter runner that probably doesn't have blocks, so it's a little bit more of a liability. But in this meta, he's awesome. He's helping people do all kinds of things that they couldn't do before. He's kind of skewed people away from elf teams, because now you basically can field an elf on a Chaos team. I think it's a detriment to the game right now. I would like to see that maybe changed. He made sense on Skaven where he didn't add that much, but he adds so much to those other teams. His treachery ability is also great. It saves you from rolling a die to get in the ball, and then he can just start running down the field. Totally unstoppable, really great. Strength 3 gutter runner with prehensile tail. Pretty good. Karla Von Kill, Block, Dauntless, Dodge, Jump Up. Her ability is she can do double her Dauntless. She may increase her strength characteristic to double that of the nominated target of her block action. So that's going to give her 3 dice if she can get 1 support. So with the block, with block, that means she's probably going to knock anything down. She already starts at strength 4. She's 210, a little pricey, but really good. And she can get on a halfling team. She can get on the Illustrian Super League or the Old World Classic. It's too bad she's only agility 3. She's not really going to help you do the ball handling stuff, which would be great because of her blodge and strength 4. But I think she's still really good. I'm giving her an A. Morg is, I think, the most expensive guy and probably the strongest. He's just pretty great. Unfortunately, he does have a special role based on throwing teammates. This isn't a guy you ever want to throw a teammate with. This guy should be just clobbering stuff. He's also agility 3+ and strength 6. He's really kind of just a giant chaos warrior. Yeah, I love him. And he can play in every team except the Sylvanian Spotlight special role. So, can't play for the undead teams. But that doesn't make sense with what I just said. If that means, is it something of the Wait a minute. So if I just said, if they release Khemri, there's no way they'll be Sylvanian Spotlight. Masters of Undeath. We'll have to change that. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you have 2 special rules for the 2 undead teams and then only pick 1 for Morg? Because if we do release another undead team, they should have 1 of the other, not both. Weird. Anyway, awesome. S. Yeah. I guess this is Roxana Darknail. Agility 1+. I think she has the best agility of anybody. Strength 3, Dodge, Frenzy, Jump Up, Juggernaut, Leap. Used to be crazy. She used to be so strong. She plays in all the elf teams. She used to be able to play for Amazons, which I don't know if Teams of Legend, if Amazons still allow her. But having a 1+ agility player that could leap was crazy. It was a great scoring threat for them, especially because she's moving 8 and they really needed that extra speed. In the current game where leap isn't that strong, I don't see her really doing that much. She doesn't have block, and that frenzy's going to get you in trouble. I would have said she was one of the best players in the game, definitely on Amazons. But now at 270, she would leap into a cage on a 3 or 2. Yeah, she would leap into a cage on a 4. Dog, nah. At 270? I'd rather just have I don't know, man. 270? That seems really pricey for what she's doing. And no block. And once per game, she can rush 3 times. She gets 1 more go for it. Which is just another chance for her to break her own neck. You know what? Get out of here. Not going for it. Rumbelow Sheepskin, Blockhorns, Juggernaut, Loner, No Hands, Tackle, Thick Skull. He's a blitzer for halflings. He's kind of what Glart is for the underworld, what this guy does for halflings. Just give you a big threat that can run around and kind of harass ball carriers, get the ball back. It's hard to get those trees really doing much damage, so ball carriers tend to just avoid them. This guy can actually go hunt them down. I like that about him. So once per game, when an opposition player is knocked down, the result is a block action. You get +1 modifier to the armor or injury roll. So he gets Mighty Blow once per game. He's not great, but at 170, he's not that expensive. I'm going to put him right by Glart. They can kind of be the blitzers for their teams. So then we got Skrull Half-Height. So he's funny because he plays for Sylvanian Spotlight or World's Edge Super League. So he can play for Dwarves or Undead. Again, he's a skeleton. So what is Masters of Undeath? Why have that special rule if it wouldn't apply to Khemri? Because he should play for Masters of Undeath. He should play for the skeletons. So I'm wrong, I guess, whatever my assumption was. He's got accurate. He's got nerves of steel. The important thing is that he has sure hands. He's only agility 4. Um, but again, on a Khemri team, it's not a big deal. Even on a dwarf team, he's going to help you get the ball down the field a little bit. I don't know if I'd actually take him though. I think he's kind of over here. I think he's. I don't want to really put him on an undead team. I'd rather Ghoul pick it up, and if I'm going to throw it with a Ghoul to a Ghoul. I don't need this guy for 150k. He's just too expensive to do what I think a Ghoul could do. Maybe not more reliably, but I can use my team rerolls. I don't have that 4+ loner to deal with. Lucian Swift and Valen Swift of the Swift Twins. You are so expensive at 340. I would maybe consider taking the thrower if I thought I needed a thrower. He does have sure hands, accurate, nerves of steel, pass, and safe pass. Great thrower. The other guy is just kind of a souped up blitzer. He's got block, mighty blow, and tackle. Either one of those are fantastic. Together, I'm not getting enough of my normal team built out. I'm kind of losing a lot for 2-star players, especially if I'm buying 11 players on an elf team, let's say a wood elf team, which I would describe as an elite team. It's kind of expensive. Now I've got to get a 12th and 13th player that costs 340 gold combined. It's just you can't afford it on elves. I mean, maybe they can fit into Elf Union if you go all linemen, but then your team is so reliant on them that you're gonna be in for a world of hurt because you're gonna realize that you don't have all the positionals you need to be effective. So for that reason, I don't think I'd ever take him. Verag Ghoul Chewer. So he also plays for Underworld, so you can get him on a Snotlings or a Goblin team. I think he also comes with So he comes with Mighty Blow, but has the special rule where he gets another Mighty Blow. So he's effectively Mighty Blow once per game with a +2, which is good. That keeps him up with Morg and Deep Root. He's got block and jump up and thick skull. So he's just kind of a big, lumbering guy. He's movement 6. He's really just another orc blitzer, but I can see that being really good on something like Underworld. For 280 though, how much is Glart? 195. Ugh, I don't want to pay that, dude. I don't want to pay for that. Let's put him down here. Glart's the better version. He's just a better blitzer for what you're getting for the cost. Wilhelm Chaney's interesting. They just released his rules, so I do know what they are. What was his special rule though? I think he's I think he also Mighty Blows. I don't remember. I just looked him up and I forgot, and I don't want to switch over and look it up. So, okay. I like him so much. I've played Necromantic with 2 wolves and him, and I liked it. I felt like I had so much movement, and I threatened so much of the pitch. My opponent had to play very defensively. They had to develop their cage very deep into their backfield because I was going to rush 3 werewolves in. That gave me additional time to kind of surround them with all my zombies and get those flesh golems in there, kind of pin them down, and then with all the frenzy, kind of just start pushing them out to the sidelines and kind of controlling the pitch. I think he helps that team do what it does better, and I like that about him. I'm going to put him in A. I think he's awesome. I think Strength 4 is really important. The wrestle used to bother me, but now I like wrestle because it just kind of keeps him safe, and I can remove a threat if I need to. I can just make sure it's on the ground. Yeah, I think that's pretty reliable. I like him. I think Strength 4, Movement 8 as a blitzer. He's one of the fastest blitzers you're going to see that's reliable at Strength 4. I don't think there's another Strength 4, Movement 8 guy in the game. So yeah, that kudos to him. Willow Rosebark, I feel so bad about. I don't hate her, but she sucks. She's just... she can reroll her Dauntless. She can increase her strength characteristics to double. So she does what Carla Von Kill does. But she doesn't come with block. And I think not coming with block, she doesn't come with dodge. She's strength 4, but only movement 5. 150k is pretty cheap, but I would just never take her. I think of all the star players, she adds the least to those teams. Elves don't want just a strength 4, movement 5 guy running around. I mean, it's basically like having a big un or just some kind of slow, crappy orc. It's just, I don't see the benefit for that team. Zolcat the Zote is dope. Uh, he gets once per game. He gets hypnotic gaze because I guess the players stop and say, "Excuse me, are you a Zote?" Um, yeah, so he can do stuff like shutting down a cage if you want to. Normally, though, you're going to be running around using his Juggernaut, his Sure Feet, his Disturbing Presence, his Mighty Blow, and his Prehensile Tail to just kind of run into things. This guy is a bulldozer. He is Strength 5. He is only Movement 5. But once you break into a cage from the corner, either by hypno-gazing it or just blitzing it, he's now in there with his Prehensile Tail. And they've got to either get away or knock him down. Either of those is going to be difficult for him. Uh, I think he's cool. Plus, he has Regenerate. So even if they finally get him down on Armor 10 plus and Strength 5, uh, they're going to have a heck of a time trying to deal with him. The only sad part is he doesn't have block, but with Juggernaut, it's you can deal with it. I want to put him in A. I don't think he belongs in A. He's 230, which is kind of expensive, but I like him. I like his toolkit. I like that he can do different things. Uh, yeah, let's put him at the top of B. Then we got my man Zug. What do I have to say about Zug? Why am I not seeing? Oh, because his name is Mighty Zug, so it's not in alphabetical order. Um, Block, Mighty Blow, Strength 5. He's just basically another ogre. And he gets the second Mighty Blow modifier, so he can do the Mighty Blow +2 once a game. At 220, he's fine. I think he's actually pretty okay. He lets humans, and humans develop two ways. They can play a little bashy, they can play kind of a running game. He lets them just be like all out bashy. You got an ogre, you got Zug, you got 4 blitzers, you throw Mighty Blow on them or guard or something, and just play bashy humans. I mean, why not? Fun, right? And then we got Creek Rust Gouger. I don't think his rules have been released, but I remember him being a Strength 5, I guess Strength 7 ball and chain, but higher armor because he's got Rat Ogre armor. So he's either an 8 or a 9 plus. I guess he'd be a 9 plus probably. The benefit there is that he's harder to remove. Downside, secret weapon. I just don't think secret weapons are all that good. I hate that I'll lose him in the half. If you've got bribes, maybe. I don't know if I want to use it on him, though. If you have a team that has a bunch of cheaty stuff, I think the secret weapons you want to preserve are... it depends on the team. If it's Underworld, you definitely want to keep those Doom Divers. I think Doom Diver is a secret weapon. And some of the other players. I think that Ball and Chain is not normally that reliable. But... Oh, he doesn't. Oh, yeah. So maybe if you got maybe put him up. I'll put him up higher. The other benefit he has is that he has more movement. I think a regular Goblin Ball and Chain's only movement 3. He's going to be movement, I think, 5. So you can actually knock down a lot of stuff. You can cause some damage. I think he's a better bet to do more effective stuff to the game than you'll see with the Chainsaw guys. So that's my list. I think. I don't know. Does this all look good? I feel I'm probably messing something up. No, I don't want people to hate me. I want to do a good job. I want people to say, yeah, I agree with that. Maybe Roxana's a little low. She has movement 8 and agility 1 plus. She can run that ball. But you're paying so much for just skills that aren't that good. And she doesn't have block. So she's not great defensively. But yeah, elves are good enough. They can get there. So I'd rather just use an elf and not have to pay for a 12th player that costs that much. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Comment what you think you'd put there. I'm also going to leave a link to this tier maker so you can come in and kind of make your own tiers and share those if you think you've got a better sense of it. If you want to just add a snotling to S tier and everything else is in D, that's a great idea, and I would not poo-poo anyone else's tier list. I commend anyone who wants to give it a shot. Thank you so much, guys. I've got a tournament coming up. I've got a 40K tournament, which I'm not really that good at. I just got back into 40K. I'm playing Genestealer Cults. I don't know what I'm doing, but part of my channel, I want it to be me going out and kind of going to tournaments and talking to people. and make it kind of a Blood Bowl travel vlog. And that's really what I want to make here. But I want to get some easy content out first. This is obviously the lowest effort thing I can do, like I already said. So I'm so sorry. But thank you for your time. Subscribe so I can reach, I think, 100 people. And then I can get a custom URL. Right now it says block. I might change it. I don't know. I made it. I don't know. I got drunk one night and made a channel. I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you so much, guys.